Frank has a question about getting a case settled. Frank?
My granddaughter had a wreck about a year and a half ago, and we're still waiting to hear from the insurance company and the lawyer. Every time we go down there, he needs more paperwork. I was wondering, how long does it take to settle a case like that? Because she's getting the hospital bills,
right,
and everything.
Well, I'll start it off. It's hard to say. We get a lot of these questions of how long, right? And it's really impossible to say because you don't know you don't know what the policies are. You don't know what they're fighting, if you're fighting liability or you're fighting damages. So the answer to that is I don't see it strange that it's been a year and a half. I'll just say that. It is strange that if you're wanting to meet with your attorney, if you're wanting documents, or if you're wanting an update, you should be able to get that pretty easily. Our policy is that we have an open file policy. If you want to see what's happening and what's going on and what's taking place, you can see every document and everything that's being done. So I would set an appointment with the attorney and ask them, say, you're asking me for these records. We've signed HIPAA releases where you can get the records. Let me see what you've done. Let's see where the case is. Because that really, to me, sounds more like a placating you to get you to go do something where the attorney can kind of, buffer maybe what they haven't been doing.
And because typically every case is different, but sure, more times than not, from the time you're done receiving medical treatment, it's going to take a month or two to get the records and bills in. It's going to take a month or so to kind of get those records over to the insurance company, and then you're going to negotiate for about a month or two. So from the time you're done treating, generally speaking, within 6 months, your attorney should know whether or not you're going to be able to settle or if it's looking like they're going to need to move forward with a lawsuit. But if you've been done treating for 6 months and the lawyer's just giving you vague answers, we need some more records, we need this, we need that, it doesn't sound like he's actually negotiating with the insurance company to try and get them to settle your case. Mm-hmm. And the more an attorney prolongs that, then it's more likely you're going to have to file the lawsuit because you have 2 years in Georgia from the date of the accident to file the lawsuit. And if the accident happened more than a year and a half ago, it sounds like that statute's coming up close.
Right. And I want to make sure everybody heard it. Chase, that was exactly right. But it's 6 months. It's a rough estimate, but it's after last treatment, not 6 months from the accident, not 6 months from going to rehab, 6 months from the very last treatment.
Because the two questions most people ask me is, how long is it going to take and what's it worth?
Right.
And if the accident happened last week, you still got to get some medical treatment. And as long as you're still receiving medical treatment, then there's not going to be any huge updates. But then once you're done treating, we get those records and bills and really see what the doctors did to you, what your injuries were, and use those records and bills to try and settle with the insurance company. If the insurance company isn't bringing enough money to the table, then we need to discuss moving forward with the lawsuit.
And of course, the more things drag on and the more medical expenses and the more pain and suffering, the more typically a settlement would be.
Yeah, it depends. Yes. But sometimes it's totally different because it could be causation. You may have a pre-existing condition, and they're arguing that it wasn't caused by that, and we would argue obviously that it was exacerbated by that. So there's a lot of different things at play. So it's hard. That's why the 6 months is a very good estimate. But there's cases that can take 1 month. There's cases that can take 6 years. It really is fact specific.
So patience is key for sure.